Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers, if you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money, so we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Rebel Rousers, welcome back to another edition of Rebellion Reborn, a segment of the Primatech Files, which of course is a Southgate Media Group podcast dedicated to all things Heroes Prime and Heroes Reborn related things. I am Lilith and on the hunt for enhanced humans, or should I say the twins.
It's Ricky. Yay. Ugh, come on then.
Our discussion today is episode June 13th. Which is the 7th episode of Heroes Reborn. It's interesting, and it's kind of the heroes that we know and love in all its glory and failure. So I can't wait to talk about it. So Hit me with the synopsis, and we'll get into it.
Noah and Hiro attempt to stop the bombing of the Odessa Peace Summit, while Angela tries to warn Mohinder about Erica Kravid. The truth behind Claire's death has an impact on others. Okay, so the writers for this episode were Adam Lash and Corey Uchida, and it was directed by Alan Arkush. Yay.
Oh, hey, Alan.
Yeah.
I remember that name.
They get him in. I think they've got him in for, like, the these next two episodes, and then that Gideon Raff, who directed the episode before, I think he's coming in afterwards and doing whatever the episode is after they come back from June 13th, so yeah.
Alright, so... yeah, let's just, where do you want to start, man?
Okay, so there's so much to go through. So we'll go with the people who are kind of left on the periphery. It's weird to be starting at the end, but I want to start with Tommy at the end and his little meeting with his mom. Or by mom, I mean Anne, who's featured heavily in this episode. And, you know, lots of theory crafting will be had by this. But when we meet Tommy at the end, he's a different Tommy to the one that we know, right? And she says, you know, happy birthday, obviously, because it's his birthday. And, you know, I think she says something along the lines of, you know, it's starting. And he says, don't worry, Dad taught me everything he knows. And she calls him Nathan. And it's really weird, obviously, because where we know where he is in the first episode, he doesn't really know anything. Not even that his name's Nathan. So I think it's safe to say that in the next episode, there will be some memory shenanigans happening. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about this. I just want to say I was totally joking about them being Luke and Leia, and when it was like, oh no, they really are, I was just like, oh, heroes. Even when I'm joking, you take me so seriously.
I've got so many issues with some things, and it's not even like what happens, it's just the reaction to it, and maybe it's just me being a bit like hoity-toity in English. But, yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay, so Tommy's out of the way. We didn't even see Melina outside of baby Melina. So.
Exactly. We'll talk about Luke, Dennis, and Joanne, because, you know, they're on the periphery. And so we finally learn why he's always covered up and he has a sun allergy, which obviously is, I don't know what
That's
the
why
word
he had
is.
the gloves on,
Yes.
Ricky. Don't you feel like a butt wipe?
No, but it's very...
No, some people were saying that he was one of those Evos, and that's why, like, you know how Luke has the power to absorb radiation, and maybe that's what it was, and I'm just like, I don't know, that's stretching. But like I said, I in the book, which is supposed to be canon, it says that he was an Evo, so... I don't know.
I don't think he is. I just think he has a disease that makes him allergic to the sun, but obviously, you know, that's changed from the original kind of scripts that were handed out to David Bishop when he started writing the book. So yeah, but I also think it's very, you know, I don't know what the word is, not coincidental, but not even karmic.
synchronicity or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Because obviously, you've got Dennis, who is allergic to the sun, and you've got Luke, who obviously absorbs the sun radiation and stuff like that. So it's very, I don't know. You can think.
You don't want to really use serendipitous.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
But yeah.
So I'm like synchronicity, something along those lines.
Well,
Definitely not serendipitous.
What did you think of the Collinses this episode? Like, the only reason they're going to the summit is because he basically wants an injection of Claire's blood, essentially, really, isn't it, to kind of help heal his child, basically, right? He doesn't.
Or maybe it was somebody who could siphon disease away or whatever it is.
I saw it as a little bit of an Easter egg because obviously he said something along the lines of, we can't just get a vaccine and inject it into our son, which, is kind of...
I was like, oh, but you can.
Yep, exactly. And obviously Joanne, I don't know if she's not the same, but she's more realistic, whereas Luke is a bit more optimistic. He's been giving his son these comics, and obviously he's put these Evos on a pedestal because he thinks that they can help his son. And she's more of a realist, and she thinks that, he's giving Dennis false hope. It kind of changes how I view them, because obviously they're killing Evos when we first meet them, but I can also see why it's like Joanne's being kind of burying her head in the sand and just blaming Evos, when I think she really does blame Luke, because there are points where she's like, we don't have to go. And when they arrive, she's like, we should go because, there's all these protesters. And it's like, she's given him outs to kind of say we can go, but he's kept them there, and she kind of blames him. I don't know if that's...
Well, isn't it serendipitous? Now, that is serendipitous that he is an Evo now, and
exactly.
She kills Evos. That's her thing.
Yeah. And
I still didn't believe they were married, though. Like, their chemistry is just non-existent.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, but, it works kind of in the beginning of the season. It works when we first meet them, because obviously they've gone through this trauma, and they're kind of, it seems like they're just together just to kind of stay together, whereas here they should be a happy married couple, but it maybe it's just maybe it was just a choice that they wouldn't have chemistry, because obviously they have this child to kind of care for and to look out for, and they're basing all their kind of their will and like their good vibes on this kid, as opposed to like their relationship. But that's just me looking.
I get that, but also, like, I don't know if it's just me being sensitive today, but the interracial couple has the sick kid. Really?
I suppose.
God, it's just like every chance they get to take a crap on brown people, they take it, and they don't run away from it. That's all that I'm saying. Heroes never runs away from it.
There is only one more thing that I want to bring up, which is after the explosion, you see Molly coming through the rubble, and there is someone holding a kid. And I had to like rewind it and like pause it to make sure that it wasn't Dennis, because obviously they're looking for Dennis. But I still
saying he's alive.
I still couldn't make it out, but we'll see. It just depends. Obviously, like, we've seen the trailer that happens, but we've seen plenty of trailers that have kind of hinted at things.
Misled us.
Yeah. Like a certain phone call in this one. But yeah, I think next up we can talk.
Well, while we're talking about that phone call, we might as well talk about that. And excuse you, do they not know how to spell Christine Rose's name? They spelled it with an H, and I'm like, dude, it is CR. Okay, how dare you?
Oh no!
How dare you? The HELE? Oh my god, human level extinction event? I'm just like,
no,
is that what they really call it in real life?
Well, it's better than the solar flare that's coming to destroy the world. SFC. TW, yeah, it doesn't have the same ring as HELE, does it? So yeah, human extinction level.
Extinction.
Yeah. Event. Let's go with someone who's in it for a bit, but not really. So let's go with past Hiro, because we're going to have to talk about past and present, and there will be many iterations of the word hero in this episode, won't there? So there's one thing about past Hiro which I kind of like. When we first meet him, he's like the hero we kind of know and love. He's very happy-go-lucky. He just wants dragons and imagination, as he talks to about Otomo.
Did you mean Imagine Dragons?
Yeah. But yeah, obviously he's trapped. He's straight away trapped into the game because obviously Hachiro has been made to drink the Kool-Aid, and he thinks if Hiro's not going to be time traveling or helping them, the best way to obviously use his power is to trap him in the game and use it that way. And that starts obviously Hiro being trapped in the Eternal Fortress. Hiro says he hasn't time traveled in a long time, but it seems like he's just been working at Yamagato and just trying to make that work, I guess. And yeah, I do like the fact that, you know, at the end, Hichiro's obviously really confused about how Hiro is dead, because obviously past Hiro's in the game, but present Hiro arrived at the summit, got counted as past, as in past Hiro, so that's why obviously he gets all confused. So yeah. Oh, my headache.
Wah, wah, wah.
So, I guess we will move on to Past Noah. So obviously, we're just going to talk about Past Noah's. The way that I'm going to start doing this is we're just going to talk about one character specifically, and then work their way through their storyline without kind of having them meet people, because that's the only way we can do this, because there's so many like variations of Noah and Hiro and Erica, and everyone kind of intermeets that kind of way. So shall we just do it all the way through from Past Noah from beginning, yeah? Or it's up to you.
I don't care.
Okay. So we start off with Past Noah arriving and being confused by Stevens, who makes an appearance back from the premiere. He talks about the guards being pulled from the car park or the sub-levels, and that ends up, you know, they're obviously been pulled to the west entrance so that Erica can kind of get her people down there to do what they're going to do. And he talks to Erica, and he's got his suspicions about Erica's intentions for his daughter. I kind of thought that Erica wanted to use Claire's abilities as well at one point. Is that what you got?
I thought it was a MacGuffin to get him down to where he needed to be, because she knew that, you know, HRG was on top of everything. I thought it was a straight up ploy. I never thought Claire was going to show up.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Because we know that Hayden Panettiere didn't, so.
So he also says something about the summit and Evos are humanity, which I think's really telling about where he is now, because obviously we know how he kind of felt about Evos back in the day, and how he got started in his Primatech ways was because of Evos killing his wife at the time. And you know, he's obviously and he's obviously softened in the time with Claire, but then there was that rift. But you know, he just carried on doing his job, and you know, he gets sent down to the levels, and it's not even level 5. There's a new level 6.
It's a level 6, right? I was like, what?
I like
How
that.
dare you?
And then we get Caspar coming in. Did you get the vibe that Caspar and him were partners?
No, but it makes sense, right? Another dude
I know,
who
right?
can take memories. He's got hella swag. He creeps up out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
We should have saw this coming, Rick.
I know, because he says when they're talking to each other, like Caspar says something really not telling, but he says something like, you know, I've never really believed in this one of us, one of them, because at the end of the day, if you have an Evo who turns on his own kind, can you really trust them? And I thought that was a great like little line that's kind of throwaway, but it's got so much.
That's Claude. That's what he said to him.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah. Remember when they're driving in the car?
No, I know. I didn't even pick that up. Oh. Yeah, I thought when obviously he came in, I thought that they were kind of playing with, you know, who was going to take away HRG's memories. Like, we've always suspected that it's the Haitian, and we kind of have been told that it's the Haitian, but at the same time, we also got told that Claire was kind of alive and she's dead. So, you know, I thought that they were going to play with that. But then Caspar and HRG start talking, and he says, you know, I saved your life when you're in Tulsa. I was with you when Gladys left you. I spent the last 4 years at your side. And that's when it hit me. Like, you know, they were partners, and it's obvious as soon as like the Haitian was taken out of the equation, as in like he left the company or whatever happened, it made sense for Caspar, another kind of memory wiper, to be his partner. And that's how I took it. I took it that they were, you know, one of us, one of them, in the kind of intervening years between Prime and Reborn. So yeah.
Yeah, I totally loved it. I totally should have saw that coming.
Looking back on everything now, it makes sense, because obviously
why he's protecting Tommy.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, some people have got their memories missing and why. So yeah, I really liked it. It's something that kind of like those lines kind of felt throwaway, but then at the same time, like you can kind of see where it's going just by them being together. You don't really have to listen to the lines. Do you know what I'm saying?
And oh my God, when he's like, hey, you remember that time and such, and I'm like, who the hell do you two think you are? This isn't Budapest, and you aren't Hawkeye and Black Widow. Right? Another freaking Marvel reference.
And it's San Francisco, where I'm sure they were based. I'm sure they were based out of there for a while, weren't they? But anyway, yeah. And obviously they copper the guard. Yep. They come out. They see the eclipse, or the man-made eclipse, or the Phoebe Made Eclipse, I should say. And Noah, in his wisdom, decides to get everyone to run by pointing a gun in the air and shooting it. And then,
oh my God, my boyfriend looked at me at that time. He's like, what is he doing? Is he killing people? I'm like, no, when you hear gunshots, you run. Like,
and then obviously he's there with the explosion, and he ends up at the hospital, and that's when he sees President HRG. And yeah, that's basically
about to kill Eric. Yeah. And I'm like, let him. They've already stepped on butterflies, dude. Screw what Hero's saying. Kill this heifer. Just kill her.
One of us might have said that obviously he's talking to himself in the past, kind of.
Yeah, in the video.
In the videos. So yeah, but we'll talk more about what's happening with that kind of 2014 stopping 2015 from shooting Erica in the kind of inside the eclipse, because I think Jack Coleman talks more about it there. So yeah. Shall we move on to... Let's go to your baby boy. Let's go to Mohinder. He looks different, right?
Younger?
Like, yeah, like, he's got some work done, right? Maybe.
Sendhil is the real time traveler. Who knew? He calls Matt, first of all, and I'm just like, you sons of biscuits. You didn't even give me my House of M reunion.
So we find out that his research, he's gone back into research mode, his father's research, and he can't pronounce Renatus. He can't pronounce Renatus properly. He pronounces him Renautus or something like that. But yeah, he's had his research funded for 4 years, something the company never did, except for obviously season 2, where they funded his research into the shop.
Because it was their research, really.
Fair enough, yeah. He's figured out how to stop the HELE, and it's via his book, Escalating Evolution, which is basically using Evos to kind of stop the oncoming threats. And that is one of the things that he's told to Erica, and Erica has taken that, along with some of visions from Angela, to kind of figure out her own kind of plan. But at the end of the day...
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. But come on, Angela got played by Erica. Really? Really? That's what you're telling me?
Well, you know, they have to.
I don't know.
Like, at this moment, I kind of totally understand why Mohinder wouldn't believe Angela, because, you know, we know what Angela's like.
She's a liar.
She's a liar and a manipulator, and obviously you've got someone else, another woman, who's giving you all the things you want. That sounds really, like, pervy, but yeah. He's gonna believe the woman who's funding his research, so yeah. But obviously he's got his suspicions, because when he goes to the summit, he starts calling his team.
Yeah, Angela laid it all out how it's going to go down. They were like, oh, excuse me, Mr. Suresh, there's been a change in schedule. Please come with us. He's like, oh, hell no.
And before he goes with them, he passes on. He has a little House of M reunion, a 2/3, so it's a House of reunion with Molly, passes on the manuscript onto her, and realizes that Angela was right. He gets He gets
trapped with the
trapped. And we'll talk about kind of those bits and pieces when we talk about future hero, future present hero. God, there's so many heroes.
Oh my God, are we going to talk about him right now?
No. We'll save that because I love that bit. But yeah, we'll talk about that. I think everyone forgot that he had powers, because at the amount of people on Twitter I said he's got super strength. I forgot. And then obviously the first thing that came, oh yeah, he was the Fly. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he's down in the basement when everything blows up. So we are led to believe that he is dead. I obviously don't think that's correct. I think they just do another season 4 kind of deal with someone saving him and taking him and putting him in a mental institution for a year or something along those lines.
Nah, let him be dead. And y'all know I love Mohinder and I love Sendhil, but at this point, I mean, he's not really contributing anything to the story. I felt like it was straight up fan service, and even though it was fan service directed pointedly at me, I'm okay with him being dead. Because I mean, if that's all they had for him, okay. I mean, let the plot, let the character serve the plot. Don't let the plot drive the characters. That's just kind of my thing about TV shows, especially. Yeah. So I'm okay if he's dead.
Yeah. So we should move on to... Let's move on to Erica first, and then we can move on to, we have Erica, who is using Phoebe to kind of stop Evos from accessing their powers during the time of the bombs, which I think is... We've kind of said that something like that would have happened, right? We said that there was an event that happened, but, you've got all these kind of Evos in one place. What better way to kind of stop them or get rid of all of them in one fell swoop and blame it on another Evo? And the way that she uses Phoebe is, she says, well, the world's ending. Your brother's going to die. You might as well, save him by helping me save the world, right? But then,
basically.
But then obviously something else happens, or she drinks the Kool-Aid a bit more because she's a lot different in the future or the present day. When she's talking to kind of Noah, past Noah, she says, evolution is good when it's controlled as opposed to when it's random. And that's obviously how she kind of sees Evos at this kind of point. And then also Caspar says that Erica has too much trust in analytics and not enough in humanity. And I think that's a very telling of where she is character-wise. What do you think?
So she has a god complex. Yeah. Okay, cool beans.
Oh my god. I go through all these nice ways of saying it and you just break it down in one line. I love it.
Never trust a CEO in all white is all I'm saying. That's all that I'm saying. That's what movies have taught me.
Yep. Her kind of arc ends when in the episode when she's on TV calling Evos evil, and she uses that to kind of turn humanity against them, and this is where kind of we find ourselves in present day, and she ends up still trying to find Claire. Why? I don't know.
That was some grade A Hitler scapegoat baiting, bro.
Listen, right? She's got a head screwed on. She knows what she's doing. I still want to know the reasonings why she hates Evos so much, and I think we're gonna find that out in a couple of episodes.
She was married to one and he traded her in for a younger model. I guarantee you some stupid stuff like that.
Yeah. We will find out. So yes, let's move on to Angela. So.
Oh, Mama Petrelli. Great-grandma Petrelli now.
Great-grandma, I know, right? And that's in
you look good for a great-grandma.
And that's in both senses of the word. So she sold her company to Erica to kind of stop the world from a catastrophic event. You know what I'm trying to say.
Catastrophic.
Yeah. We kind of see Angela's visions. I can't remember if we actually have at any point. It's kind of
we do, because we see the hand grow in the grass, which we assume is Melina.
Yes, but no. I'm just saying, we haven't seen one of Angela's kind of visions before, but I just remembered we did in Villains. But then we also see Molly's kind of power for the first time in this episode as well. What she sees.
Sweat and constipated.
Yep. And also, talking about powers, I like the fact that Hiro just has to blink his eyes now. It's not the strain of the poopy. But yeah. But also, one thing about Molly is the fact that she doesn't tell past Noah that Claire's dead. She just says, I'm sorry, I don't know where she is. And that's the end of that.
Which means she's dead.
Exactly.
If Molly can't find a person, that means they're dead. We've established this.
So Angela says that Evos can save the world. And Erica takes that as in we have to take them out so she can be the kind of one who saves the world. That's how I saw it, right? Because she wants to keep...
That's how I've always seen it.
She wants to keep humanity alive, not Evos. But yeah, then the hospital calls, or, we think Claire's called, but it's not. I think it's obvious. I think it's Anne Clark at this point who's calling from Claire's mobile. And then we get a vision of the children and the prophecy, which is obviously, one of them regrowing the earth in that kind of Garden of Eden kind of moment from season 4 with Ian Michael Black. That's not his name. I think it's Ian Michael Black.
No, that's not his name, but close enough.
But no, I think his name is Ian Michael, and he's black. So
Yeah, we made fun because it sounds like that one comedian.
it's obvious that that's
Melina.
Melina. But, they could swerve us again. And yes, Angela is a great grandmother in all senses of the word.
Yeah, it was weird. And she's just like, they let it slip that they're from the future. She's like, oh, bloody hell.
Yeah. Oh, you came back from the future? Yes, and she knows that something's going to happen on June 13th, 2015, and that they're obviously sending things to the future, and she believes that one of Claire's kids is going to save the world. Which one, she doesn't know, because obviously all she knows at the moment is that they're kids. She doesn't know what their powers are. And obviously she has.
Well, at that point, they didn't even know they were twins, though.
Yeah.
When she got that vision, is
True,
what it was.
Yeah. And then it ends with her and Hiro going back to 1999. So yes.
Well, who's gonna who's raising? Like, okay, so Tommy gets the nurse for the mother, and then Melina gets shipped off to the Arctic, like Antarctica.
No. I think I know where this is going, but we will talk about that in the trailer update. So yeah. Shall we just start with Present HRG, because Present Hiro is so good, right? Oh no! Okay, we'll start with HRG. So he turns up with Hiro, and Stevens meets him and says, "You're going to want to see your daughter," which is obviously a little kind of foreshadowing, because obviously he will want to see her because she's got a big belly, I'm assuming. Obviously, he goes to try and figure out what's going on, so he goes to like his office, and that's when they go into the closet, and he kind of realizes that this is why he got his mind wiped, because he knows something. He has a plan, but it may not work. And yeah, that's kind of the beginnings of why he starts to realize why he got his mind wiped. Then he finds out that Claire died in childbirth. And I think it's very interesting to find, you've got, when they bring out the twins, they have kind of the quote unquote wrong babies, as in like Angela is holding Tommy, or Nathan, and HRG is holding Melina, whereas, they are essentially raised by the other one, and the other one kind of names the other baby. Do you know what I'm saying? Or is that really? Yeah. Obviously, this being HRG, he has to see Claire. He has to see it for himself. He says, that there's a spot in the back of her brain that will stop her from assessing her power. But yeah, what do you think about Claire dying? How do you think it's real, or do you think it's a diversion, or do you accept
No, I absolutely think that Claire is dead. I think that's the one promise that they gave us that they're gonna stick to, because Hayden Panettiere wants nothing to do with this show. Mm-hmm. She's on a successful show in her own right now. That was the past. I totally don't blame her, and I don't blame Milo either for it. Maybe ZQ a little bit though. He could have gave us something. But so yeah, I think she's totally dead, and I don't think it right now. It doesn't make sense to me why she's dead. But maybe the baby's absorbed all her power, and that's like how how Melina kind of got her power to like harvest all the elements or whatever.
Yeah.
Because blood is life force and whatever. And then Tommy might have got his power from whoever the hell knocked her up.
I don't think we'll ever find out who knocked her up. I think that's a good thing.
It's that guy. It's Kellen Butts. I'm telling you. She had she dyed her hair brown, and she moved back to a small Midland, and she was living that life, and her name was Sandra.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. What do you think about the reasoning behind her death? Obviously, they say she had a seizure, and that's what killed her during childbirth. What do you think of that? A seizure? Was it a seizure brought on by cardiac arrest, like they said?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I mean, okay, whatever you want to tell me, I'll believe it, because I think that, Claire does, no offense, but Claire does deserve to die. She's the one that started all of this, so...
Yeah. I also think there's a lot of the fandom who won't accept the fact that she's dead, and will keep on saying, she's not dead because, she's a healer. But at the end of the day, she had a seizure in her head. Like, that stops her from accessing her power, right? Because if the seizures, right? No, am I thinking too weirdly? But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Who knows with the Heroes writer room at this point? But I'm accepting that she's dead. I'm accepting that Hayden Panettiere wants to put that part of her life behind her. Plus, she's dealing with other things, postpartum and whatnot. So just let the woman be. I said it, so you didn't have to.
And let's be honest, the first 4 seasons of Heroes essentially revolved around her. This is the reboot / prequel / sequel / mini event. She's not even in it, but
Flash sister show.
Yes, she's not even in it, but the whole show still revolves around her, and she's not even in it.
Special little snowflake children.
Yeah. So let's accept that she's not coming back. Please accept that she's not coming back. I know it's hard to hear, but yes. Also, Gabriel Gray is not the father of the baby. Please don't let Gabriel Gray be the father of the baby.
You shut your mouth!
I have seen many people on the Twitter sphere saying that it is Gabriel Gray. That I don't think is going to happen because there is too much history between them to let that happen. So yes, please.
But he was trying to be good, and he still has her father's soul, and she definitely has daddy issues. Damn it, Ricky! Now it's gonna happen. I called the Luke and Leia thing. Now Siler's the kids' babies. Oh God.
So yeah, Noah has to see Claire. He sees the babies, and then he knows why he mind wiped himself. He mind swiped himself to hide the children from in the past from Erica. He says he's going to erase the footage so no one knows that they were there. He wasn't very good at that because obviously, you know,
I was gonna
he
say,
still sees himself.
Something must have stopped him.
Or maybe he just erased certain bits so that he would in the future know that he could see that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he left himself some breadcrumbs just in case.
The whole while Hiro has been going on about, you know, stepping on too many butterflies and fate is fate. And I think even in like my write-up of it, I called a fixed point in time and something that they can't really change. Yeah,
timey-wimey crap.
Exactly. And even though Hiro has nailed it into his head, into HRG's head, do not change this, don't step on any butterflies, he still decides to try and squash the biggest butterfly of them all, which is Erica Kravid. And he seems to be stopped by himself, but we will find out next week in the to be continued. So yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that future hero thing.
Present hero. It's not future hero. Not yet. Yes.
It's our future hero.
Yes.
The original Prime.
Yes. I like the fact that they still bring up the kind of butterfly effect, and you know, as annoying as it is to hear him saying don't step on too many butterflies, it's reinforcing the fact that, you know, he's learned his lesson, and, you know, even though he's going back in time, he's making sure that he doesn't do anything to kind of mess up the timeline in the future. He's trying to change the past without changing the future. He's learned from his mistakes, yeah? And
sure. But I'm still kind of pissed off about the fate is fate thing, because that's not what they were telling us in the original one until like season 4, basically.
I suppose.
What's the point of even going back or going forwards if you can't change?
And time travel always is very confusing. Obviously, you know, there had to be, the only way I can describe it is like the Doc Brown kind of Back to the Future thing. You've got an original line, and that's the original timeline, but obviously it skewers off. But this doesn't seem like it's a skewer off. To me, it seems like it's just a loop that's been happening over and over again. Like, there's never been an original timeline. The original timeline is always 2015 versions coming back to the past to kind of help kind of create what happened. And that's why they can't change it, because it would create a never-ending paradox, and blah, blah, blah. Then a HELE would come and destroy the world. So it's basically all their...
Yeah, I'm saying if there's a HELE coming, then let's make some butterflies then. World's already ending. And how the hell did they keep that from everybody? I have no idea.
Yeah. Well,
anyway.
Erica kept it away from everyone because, you know, she controls the company. And
it's called NASA.
Yeah, no, she controls NASA as well. I'm sure NASA is a conglomerate of the company. I'm sure if we saw a picture of NASA, it would say underneath a Renatus company. So yeah, that's why.
Oh God, the U.S. government is so kind. I could actually see that.
I'm sorry. If people are going to say that Gabriel Gray is the father of the twins, then I'm going to say that NASA is a Renatus company. Deal with it. Yeah.
Anyway, I was really mad at. Obviously, I'm mad at Hiro for basically seemingly letting Mohinder die. He's like, nah, too many butterflies. And I said, next time my boss asks me to do something, I'm like, nah, too many butterflies.
So yeah, he basically says, save the cheerleader, I'll save the bomb. And he goes to save... Well, no, he does initially go to save Mohinder, right? Because he turns up, and this is like the little scene that they showed at San Diego Comic-Con with double-edged Hiro fighting Harris. Yes. So when
Attack of the Clones!
When they first talk about the bombs, they say that there's 6.
Yeah.
And when we first meet Harris, there's, what, 1? And then all of a sudden, there's 3. So is Hiro the real reason why the bombs first got carried out?
He already said that they were already strapped when he was talking to Mohinder, though.
Maybe.
They were just deployed everywhere else.
Okay. But yeah, also I want to bring up the fact that even when Hiro chops off his arms and we get 2 new Harrises, or Harrisai, or Cloney McGinty's, I don't know how you want to say it, he still has the bomb attached to him. And the only reason why I would say this is because obviously when he chops off his finger, they still have clothes. So basically anything that's on them at the time is what they kind of have. And also how he was able to clone himself after the eclipse happened was because they're independent of him. They're not part of him. Like once he chopped off that part of his body, they're an independent person. That still kind of listen to him, if you get what me.
They still have a hive mind, definitely. Yeah. That's exactly what I told my boyfriend when he asked me, by the way, Ricky.
Great minds think alike. Anyway, I like the fact that Hiro checks all the timelines. What did you think about that? Is that what you had issue with?
That was cute. And I was like, okay, thank you. That is a little bit of evolution for Hiro.
Definitely a little bit of evolution. And it's like when Oliver talks to the Flash in season 1 of The Flash. He says, you've got super speed. Why don't you just case the joint beforehand? And that's basically what's happening here. And I think it's great that, he has evolved and he's still kind of that future hero that we first met. He's very stoic. He's very straight to the point, and he's very staunch in his, fate is fate. Don't step on any butterflies. But then we get little hints of past Hiro, like Harry Potter. And I thought that was a really nice little line. So yeah, he realizes that there's too many butterflies. He can't stop the bombs. He goes to take HRG out, and he can't put out because of Phoebe's
umbrakinesis.
Umbrakinesis.
I like that word.
And so they end up at the hospital. Well, they're at the hospital, and Hiro meets the babies. Also, he meets Anne Clark, who seems to take a very special liking to him in giving him one of the babies and teaching him how to bottle feed a child. I think that's a big clue as to what is upcoming.
Did Hiro raise Tommy?
Oh yes, this is my theory. Well, I didn't think you. I thought you would have known this, but yes, we will talk about that in my theory crafting. But yes, that is what I think. Noah says he wants to take Hiro back to kind of save Claire again, and he says, "No, Noah, look, this is it. Fate is fate." And Angela stops the thought, saying, "Look, no more chase. You can't chase this anymore. We have to save the future." And basically, she says, "Forget the past," which is.
See, that's our thing. I told you guys, save the future,
save the future.
The past. That's exactly what they wanted.
And the rationale is take the kids back 15 years to in the past, which is when. So by the time that this happens, they will be 15 and their powers will start to manifest, much like.
But technically, Claire is a baby, saved herself. That's how she didn't die in the fire. Just saying.
Yep.
Just saying.
So they assume that will work. Angela kind of tells Hiro that this is a good idea because her visions are essentially fate. Stuff that's going to happen as she's seen the kids. So yes, take them back. And he does it. That is it.
And that's not stepping on too many butterflies? Okay.
But let's get this straight. During the first incarnation of the show, during Heroes season 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, we have a present day Angela there, a present day Hiro there, these 2 kids all growing up for 15 years, right? Because you remember in some of these pictures, we've seen old man Hiro. So yes, present day Hiro becomes old man Hiro. But yeah, what do you want to do first? Do you want to go into the recap, or do you want to go through the Easter eggs, the world building, all that kind of stuff?
Let's do the review.
Cool.
So we'll start with who is your favorite character of the night?
Future Hiro / present Hiro. Yeah, has to be. He may wax lyrical about stepping on too many butterflies, but he is the man in this episode. He does all the kind of action related things that we've been waiting for. He is that future Hiro that we have been waiting for, but he's still got that little touch of the past present Hiro that we remember. So yeah, how about you?
I like Angela because she just stops all the shenanigans dead in their tracks.
Yeah.
She's like, look, this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And you're going to like it, and you're going to go along with it.
And all of them listen
like
because
boss.
it's Angela Petrelli. Everyone listens. What is your favourite character interaction?
I'm going to say, so present day Hiro, present day Noah, and past Angela with the babies. I thought that was such a cute scene, moment, and I hate kids, by the way. So. That's saying a lot.
I think I'm going to go with... Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that as well. What about your favourite scene?
Favorite scene has to be Hiro getting it done with the clones.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yatta.
Yeah. I'm not even going to go with the Yatta. I'm going to go with him checking out all the alternative futures. I thought it was a great little piece of evolution for the character. And yeah, I think it's great. And, you know, we always, like, he says, like, you know, you've got to find the smallest string to kind of pull to make everything not unravel. And that kind of harks back to save the cheerleader, save the world. She is the smallest string to kind of save the world that will keep everything from not being destroyed in the future.
I thought she was the biggest string in that case, though, because if you stop Silo, then you stop everything else that was to come. So, I don't know.
No, because everything's still going to happen, except Silo will die. So yeah, they wanted to stop the future in that one, I guess. Yeah?
I guess. Who even knows anymore? Damn executives and their freaking input.
So, do you have any favourite lines?
Let me look. I don't think I do.
I'm going to go with, ooh.
Besides the Yatai.
I'm going to go...
AKA Japanese, really Japanese for getting stuff done.
Serious Yatai as well. It's not...
Exactly.
It's not...
Oh, no. I know. It's Tommy. Don't worry. I'm ready. My dad taught me everything. And I was like, what?
So, yeah. I'm going to go with just eternal talk of don't step on too many butterflies. So, yeah. I don't know why he sounded like a little bit like Arnie there. And, yeah, I think that's basically it. Yeah.
So, the grade. Can't skip out on the grade.
Okay, so I'm going to go with like a B+. I can't give it like an A, because I'm still not on board with this whole kind of sending the twins back. I think that's...
Which didn't we kind of call that?
We did.
We said somebody was going to use their power to age them up, and technically that's what happened.
Yeah, and the thing is...
He'll use his power to send them back to the past.
But we talked about this last week. You know, there's a thing about calling it and kind of predicting what's going to happen, and there's it actually happening, and you still kind of don't really know about it. So for me, like... The thing about Heroes was it was kind of a little bit grounded in reality. Like, it was just these people who just happened to have these powers, whereas now it's gone on to, like, full sci-fi kind of territory. So, yeah. I'm not saying I don't like it, I'm just saying I'm unsure about it. This is basically another kind of Evernow for me, in the fact that I'm just gonna see how it actually pays off, if you get me. How about you?
Yeah. I'm going to give it a B as in boy, just a flat out, straight up B. It was like lots of nostalgia factor, but at the same time, it's the same stuff that infuriated me with the original Heroes about the time travel and Hero's powers and how he basically could never do anything. And now they're just saying, oh, it's because fate is fate. I'm like, all right, whatever. But everything else was really good. I thought, you know, I love the twist with the twins because I called it. And I like that they're not Taylor's babies.
Yeah.
It makes sense that there's Claire's babies because, you know, Tommy has hints of Claire and Peter and all that stuff. So,
and also it's still
glad to know that we almost called it with the Peter picture.
Yeah, and it's also
Literally.
you know, it's also save the cheerleaders' kids, save the world. So yeah,
and they saved the world.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah. So this got a 3.95 in the rating, which is a little bit more than the week before.
Wait, hold on. You mean viewers?
Yeah, that's all I've got. I don't have like the actual. I think it did really bad in the demo.
I did not check because I just want to enjoy what we have left, and I'm just bracing myself for the one and done.
Yeah, or maybe the summer show. I think even if it is a one and done season, I think they've got more than enough kind of extra content that they can keep it going. But it's just not going to. It's just
video games.
Yeah. I just don't think.
Webisodes.
I just don't think we'll see more kind of TV series at the moment. But to be fair, it started off with like a 6-7 million, and we're at like basically about halfway than what the premiere did. So, you know, to me, that's not bad, because generally you will have a big kind of... It's very rare for them to kind of retain it. Only a couple of shows have kind of done that.
The Flash.
Yeah, but also this is NBC on a Thursday, which, you know, had Hannibal having like not terrible ratings, but, you know, not very
Well,
good
that was
ratings.
the summertime too, though.
To begin with, no, it first started off, didn't it?
No, they started on Fridays. Look, don't talk about Hannibal. I know everything there is to know about Hannibal, but no, Thursday nights, anytime after Heroes, the Blacklist does really well. The Player, come on, it's Wesley Snipes. What were you expecting? No offense.
Maybe they'll...
You know, it's NBC. They struggle.
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, maybe
So anyway.
maybe they'll be fine with it. But anyway, we'll move on to everything else. So we have Easter eggs, which are the musical cues. Jesus Christ, the musical cues that came up during this episode were great. It just harkens back to everything Heroes Prime.
I even tweeted, when you see Mohinder and Winnie Elisa's music kicks
Yeah.
in and you don't get hyped as something's wrong
It's
with
not
you.
even that. It's the beginning when they start the episode. They blatantly start with like the first pilot episode, the dun 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 dun, dun,
Yeah.
and then it goes in, and I was like, oh, it's on. Anyway, we have Flying Man making an appearance again. We have the talk about butterflies. We have Stevens, who was obviously in the premiere. We have Game Over said by Angela, which I think is a nice little Easter egg to the episode before.
Inject.
I know, right? Inject him with a vaccine. Claire, maybe. The parental unit telling their kid he's special. So obviously, you know, that's Luke telling Dennis that he's special all the time. Maybe if he survives, he will turn into the new Sylar. Dennis, that is, not Luke. We have HRG's Hidden Wall, Harry Potter, The Spot in the Back of the Brain, Eternal Fortress, The Yatar, No Shunty Goodness, Greato Scotto, One of Us, One of Them, Claire Bear. When they have the babies, if you have a look in the background, they have the kind of sun in the background, and then they have a tree, and on top is like a bear, which I just assume is a little Claire Bear reference. Party Like It's 1999, Nathan obviously being the name of Angela's lost child. Melina, I don't know how I felt about Melina. I think that's a bit, you know, it would, if we had known that there was a Melina before, maybe. What would you have called the girl?
You know what? I like to say that it's Mrs. Shaw's real name.
Yeah.
Mama Shaw's real name.
Maybe. No, but he's the one who gave it. So it was not his.
I know. I'm just going to pretend like that.
Fair
though.
enough. And I like Hiro being able to stop time easier by just blinking instead of poopy face. Next up, we have world building. We have the 6 separate bombs which destroyed, you know, Primatech. We have the HELE, which is your new favourite word. Level 6, people aren't all aboard with Evos, obviously, because there's protests. San Francisco, ? What happened there? Hopefully we will get...
Budapest.
Yes. The Eclipse is a Trojan horse, just a reason to block all the powers, kills a lot of Evos who can save the world, and make Evos a scapegoat in one fell swoop. So yes. Next up we have theory crafting. Did Hiro originally cause the 6 bombs, which we've kind of said, and you've told me no, so I'm going to agree with you on that. Does Joanne really blame Luke and not the Evos, rather than push her aggression elsewhere, because only Luke kind of knows what she's been through? What do you think about that?
Ooh.
Fair enough.
I don't like the column scissors. I will never like them. Sorry.
Fair enough. Caspar is he HRG's new / old partner? I think we're pretty set on yes, right?
Yes. Affirmative, sir.
Okay, so my theory craft is obviously we see a more confident Nathan / Tommy in this episode. I think in the next episode he'll get his memory wiped, because obviously he says he's been taught everything he knows by his father, but when we meet him he doesn't know anything about his powers. So yes, and I also think that Otomo / present Hiro are in Sunstone Manor. That is why Anne says if you knew where your father was you would try and save him, talking about present Hiro. So yes. And the original vision had Melina repopulating. I put in quote, the world. Has that changed or is it different? Because obviously, you know, they both think that, you know, the twins are going to save the world, not just one of them. How is this going to happen? Obviously, we've got the Ninth Wonders comic, which kind of says that he goes into the future. So yeah,
Yeah, so I think it's definitely up to both of them. Since Melina is Captain Planet, it only makes sense for like. Well, no, it's in the reverse because Captain Planet was the dude, and then they had Gia who was like sending the Planeteers. So yeah, I watched that show as a kid. Do not judge me.
Fair enough.
I still recycle, use, and reduce.
Cool. So, burning questions. Is present Hiro Tommy's quote-unquote father? Because obviously, you know, Anne and present Hiro kind of have that little moment, and I think
she doesn't have big anime eyes.
I know.
No, I was like, that should have been Dion Bray, right?
Yeah.
Or the Doctor.
But yeah, I think it's perfectly logical that he's going to be Tommy's father, because he's taught him everything he knows about teleporting.
He's the junior master time. He's the apprentice of time and space.
Exactly. What is Erica's reasoning for getting rid of the Evos? Is there more than just the survival of the human race? I think we will learn about that
she's a bigot.
She's
a straight up bigot.
I think episode 11 is they've like Mac on set tweeted out a picture of like the last couple of script titles, and I think it's episode 11 is called Company Woman. So maybe that's a little Erica flashback.
Boo.
Yep.
Nobody gets a flashback except for HRG, damn it.
Seizures during the childbirth, is that her reason for dying? Was the spot destroyed during this seizure? Time travel, is that the reason for the bombs blowing up? Like, basically, did they create this by going back in time? Why it happened? Molly has escalating evolution. We also know that Quentin gets his hands on it.
And then Erica also has a copy, which makes sense now.
So
she was funding his research.
So do we think? I think that Molly and Quentin meet accidentally in the hospital, and that is how he gets his hands on escalating evolution. So yes.
No, I think she calls Micah and he puts it online, and Quentin finds a copy, and then Erica like somehow is able to get online and take the rest of the copies down. Maybe.
Fair enough. And we've also talked about already, the twins have been around since the first incarnation of Heroes growing up, as well as a version of Angela and Hiro. So put this in your mind. In Heroes Season 1, there is a present Hiro, a past Hiro, and a future Hiro, all in that timeline. So yes.
Yeah.
Put that in your brain pan. So the only other things I kind of want to bring up is, what do you think about this? So a lot
Oh my God, no! And that makes it even more desperate for them to save the cheerleader. Yeah.
Yes!
Because her kids.
Because we need the kids, yes. Oh man, it all kind of
and the future heroes raising Tommy at that time. There we go.
Exactly.
Yep, I agree.
So
you got me now.
A lot of people have said that this is a great upswing in Heroes Reborn. Like, obviously they think that the first couple of episodes were a bit boring and it's kind of picked up now. Do you think that that's just because the original characters have come back, or do you think it's because a lot of questions have been answered?
Well, we always knew that a lot of questions were going to be answered once the original characters came back. Let's be real. This was just a Trojan horse to bring back our faves.
Yeah.
Like, this whole show is just a Trojan horse for, hey, we need to settle our debts with our fans. They got cut short. And I just kind of feel sorry for the people that, jumped on board because,
it was a new show,
their
yeah.
actors were in it. Yeah.
I don't,
which is good for us, though.
I don't know how I feel about it, because I think, I just feel a bit bitter about all these people saying it's great because all the original characters are back. I kind of like some of the newer characters. I'm still getting to know them.
Yeah, the Freddy cats still,
exactly.
Freddy cats are still hanging in there. So, those are only, let's be real. I mean, Katana Girl's gone. She served her mission. So, all the people we really care about.
I suppose. And a lot of people are going on about how this is too similar to Star Wars. And I just wanted to say,
did you listen to the podcast last week? She totally called it. Luke and Leia.
Also, people are going on no one has ever ripped off another story before.
I mean, Heroes is based on Marvel.
Yeah.
You can't tell me different. Sorry, Tim.
Yeah.
Just too many Kawiki dinks. And speaking of that, I was online and somebody was like, "Hey, doesn't Heroes Reborn remind you of X-Men Giant Resized issue where they literally start 5 years from the last time we met them and starts a new team?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, it totally is."
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I guess, people, it's similar to Star Wars. They even said the word New Hope. Just, it's a very iconic story. You're not going to be able to have twins.
Well, and it wasn't the first story to do that either.
Yeah.
George Lucas pulled sources from all over the world to make that story. So, your special little Star Wars isn't such a special little snowflake after all.
Yeah, so get over it.
Nerd!
Oh, God, I'm so bitter about that. Yeah, that's basically it. So we will move on to the trailer for the next episode. So it starts off with a dramatic voice saying, you couldn't save her, but a new hope was born. And then we see present Hiro and Angela splitting up somewhere in the past. Melina growing up in money, hence the kind of spoiled brattiness. Well, that's in my eyes anyway. You kind of see her in like a school uniform, kind of preppy school uniform. You see old man Hiro, HRG talking to himself, saying to keep Claire's kids safe at all costs. And by talking to himself, I mean 2015 talking to 2014. We see...
Melina's in school with Monty, calling it.
Oh, man. Oh, my God. They are like their nephews and nieces, right? These twins are like the grand nieces, but they're older. Oh, my God. That would be such a head fuck. Anyway. You got old man Hiro saying you've got no idea what changes have been made to the future. We see a picture of we see the Collinses removing a blanket and seeing dead Dennis. We see Parkman saying hello Noah, whether he's talking to future or present or past Noah, I don't really know. Tommy saying he's ready to save the world, and directly afterwards Harris has put in a gun to his head, and I paused it and you see old man Hiro, you see present HRG, you see someone who looks like Anne, I believe, and someone in the background who's running away, who I can only assume is Molly. So yes, present / old man Hiro seems to be Tommy's dad. And also I don't think we're ever going to get to know who the real father is, so just do your theories.
Oh, it's Siler, dude. If this is really Star Wars, then Siler absolutely has to be their dad, right? He's the Darth Vader of this whole universe, basically.
Yeah. Cool.
He's like, damn it!
So we'll go on to Inside the Eclipse for this episode. It has Christine Rose talking about coming back. She says something along the lines of, how did she talk? How did she think? I know what her hair was like, and I thought that was like nice. But anyway, Mohinder and Angela, they're having a scene where it's not friendly, but it's not like old friends happy to see each other. There's like, that kind of tension between them. Angela's always been duplicitous, but always doing what's good for the world. Nothing in the past 4 years has made any bit of difference for Mohinder to kind of start trusting her. Mohinder has gone back to his research. He's been fooled by the corporation. In the beginning, Mohinder...
Again.
Yeah, when we first see him, he's basically the bad guy. He's the reason behind the bombings, and we're kind of, in this episode, we're seeing how much of that is true. Hachiro has his real name shown, and his real name is Hiro, which I thought was kind of funny. But obviously he talks about Hachiro being kind of manipulated by the master manipulator herself, and that's not Angela, that's Erica. What?
Ooh.
They talk about Claire having died, but, saving the world is still important, and she's there in spirit through her kids. Save the cheerleaders' kids, save the world. Tim and Elkoff talk about time travel, and I quote, say, why can't it work that way? Because everyone in the writer's room was talking about time travel doesn't work that way. So, yeah. Present Hiro has an existential crisis because of his power. He's got this enormous power, but he can't use it because of changing everything. Because, they always talked about Hiro being overpowered, and they kind of stopped him by doing that, by doing the butterfly effect. And they talk about, saving the cheerleader. That was the smallest butterfly, the smallest thread, which wouldn't create the chain of events that makes things even worse. 2014 HRG says 2015 HRG. It's still an element of the craziest thing he'll ever see, but he knows 2014 HRG knows that this isn't going to end well, and he has to stop a gigantic butterfly from being crushed. So yes, as I say again, watch Inside the Eclipse. It is a great watch. It's only 5-10 minutes, and it's generally posted after the West Coast. So yeah, Boom.
I don't know how I really feel about those. Like, I really hate producer previews or post interviews where it feels like they feel the need to explain stuff because maybe it wasn't done that great in the episode. That's my only nitpick about it.
How would
like,
you have...
I don't really have another extra 5-10 minutes to dedicate to this with the podcast. If I wasn't doing the podcast, then maybe.
How would you have felt if they had gone with, like, Greg Grunberg's original idea to have kind of like a Talking Dead segment afterwards?
Now that, I mean, if they would have had like the some of the old characters and some of the new characters and just totally did it Chris Hardwick style, I would have been down for that. You know what I mean? Like giving us like a little insight about like what they're doing, their projects and stuff on top of that. But only because I really do love the old cast that much.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe Milo would have come on for an interview and just said, "I'm not coming back, guys. Stop asking me on Twitter." I'll go quickly into the magazine because I finally got a chance to read it.
Finally.
Because my internet was down for a couple of days, so, you know, why not read a magazine? I'm not really going to go into it too much because, you know, a lot of the stuff that they say in it we've covered already. So the magazine just has like a breakdown of like the 11 episodes, as in like, you know, the synopsis or synopsi. They talk about Dark Matters and the app. They talk about the games. There's a Tim Kring interview. There's a character guide to all the new characters. They have Zachary Levi doing an interview. And the only thing that I want to pull from that is that when they were shooting it, in his mind, he thinks that the killing of kind of Tommy at that point is what kind of turns him around on the thought of killing people, because obviously before he's been killing like adults and now here he is killing a kid. And, you know, his son was a kid. That's how he explained the kind of switch around at that point. Also, obviously, you know, he got powers. We have a Shackman interview, and all he brings up is that there are different palettes associated with places, like green for Chicago, purple for Japan, and it's his first kind of real sci-fi job. There's an interview with the set builder, Matt Davis, who worked on season 3 of Hannibal. So, yes. There's an interview with Jack Coleman, an interview with the costume designer Barbara Somerville, who says that the El Vendigore costume was made by Legacy Effects, which is the same company who made the Iron Man costumes.
There you go.
Yep. There is a Powers scientific breakdown. There's a Judith Saccone interview. David Bishop, what interview. We have a Dwayne Swarovski, I think that's how you pronounce his name, interview, where he talks about his ebook called, I believe it's called Catch and Kill, or that's what it was called at the time of publication, and that's the one that's about the Collins eyes. Then there's an interview with Kevin J. Anderson and Peter J. Wax, who talk about The Long Way from Home, which is basically one of the ebooks. It's about a temporary assessment camp where heroes or Evos are being held against their will. Can anyone say Sunstone Manor? Yes, I think we can. There's a Kiki and Toru interview. There's On Set of the Brave New World. There's a Robbie Kay interview. James Middleton, Jimmy Jean-Louis, and a look at the comics. And then there is another one coming out in December. So yeah, keep an eye out for it. It's quite interesting if you want to find out more. So yes.
Yeah, I used to subscribe to a show magazine, Supernatural magazine. They canceled it after like I think it was like season 7 or something like that. But yeah, they're really interesting if you're like one of those diehard like fans that you want to know every single stitch of a show. Yo, those are really cool, but it's so hard to find. And like my comic book store, they're kind of lame. I have to find a new one. So.
Fair enough.
I know more about it than they do. But I had a question for you that we didn't get to.
Fair enough.
Okay, Carlos wasn't in this episode, so does that make him less important?
No, I think he's
like we've been kind of saying.
I think he's in the next one. I think we're going to find out more.
Yeah, but I mean he's not in the flashback episode. Do you know what I mean?
But next week's another flashback episode. It's part 2 next week.
Okay.
So I think we're going to learn more about. He's not like Carlos himself in Heroes Reborn. His story isn't going to be anything to do with the June 13th disaster. His story is going to be his time at the war.
Well, his brother should be, because that's what inspired him.
I think it's just going to be a little snippet about his time in the war, but it's still going to be off to the side. I don't know how much is going to be linked towards the June 13th summit. So yeah.
Okay, and one more thing that I just learned. Did you know that Jack Coleman is the great-great-great-great-great-grandson of Benjamin Franklin?
Yeah, I knew that.
In case you guys didn't.
You didn't expect.
I learned that like last week, right after we got done with the podcast.
Okay.
Just wanted to...
So
anyway,
we have emails 3 pages of them. So, it starts off...
Wow!
I know, this is a mix between Facebook and emails and tweets and DMs. So, we have Zacharias Halu. Sorry, I have butchered your name. They say... When they're talking about Heroes, they're saying, awesome, just wondering who Tommy's father is, both biological and the stepdad who taught him everything. I still can't accept that Claire is dead. Accept it. First things first. Sorry to be so blunt. Accept it. She's not coming back because Hayden Panettiere is...
We've already talked about it. It's okay.
I don't know who the biological dad is, but I think the stepdad is Hiro. Believe that if you want to be Gabriel Gray to be the biological dad. I don't think we'll ever find out who the biological dad is because we won't have Claire. So yeah, it's pretty simple. They also asked, did Mohinder die? I think it's safe to say that he did, but unless Hiro managed to go back and port him out and put him in a mental institution a la season 4. So yes, why was...
Dr. Watson!
I know, right? Why was Past Bennett calling Past Hero? The reason why Past Bennett was calling Past Hero was to wonder if he was at the summit, and he wanted him to be at the summit. That's why he was calling him. It's just as simple as that, I think. Next up, we have Daniel Gaston 4. She says, I am confused by the whole Tommy/Melina being born in the future and raised in the past. Because on the 13th, they are teenagers. So basically, there are 2 sets of Tommy and Melina's, one baby and the other teens. I'm confused. That time travel does that to you.
I was going to say, welcome to time.
Welcome to Time Travel Stories. But yes, you are basically right. They took the twins back to the past 15 years. So on June 13th, they were born, sent back, and they are 15 years old / 14 years old on the day of June 14th, 2014. So yeah. I hope that helps.
You just made it worse.
I have. Chris Kirkpatrick said, this episode certainly helped put a rest to fan favourites returning. It also explained the origin of a few characters I was wondering about. Finally, some answers! So yes, I agree.
Same.
Next we have Joshua Deschanetels. No wonder why they didn't bother asking Hayden Panettiere to come back. I don't know.
They did it because she didn't want to come back.
Also... the story's still revolving around her. So yeah, that's all I've got to say. Next up, we have John Ericlilas. It was good. Best I could do without giving spoilers. You should just email us, primatechfiles@gmail.com, and you can spoil it all you like. Or you could just DM us.
Or direct message. Yeah, I was going to say, you can just direct messages on Facebook too. Yeah.
Or on Twitter @primatechfiles. Anyway, next we have Juan Pablo X_X. This was a great episode, grin emoticon. Actually says the words grin emoticon. Long life to Heroes, please never end.
Well, just give us a video game every year. We'll be good.
Exactly. Copy of Clara says, last night's episode was incredible. There is no other word that can describe it. Just absolutely incredible. And just want to say thank you for all your hard work you guys do to make these podcasts. I get really excited when they come out. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you very much, Niles.
Yay! Praise for us.
What? I did my little praise dance there, so yeah, that's what that sound effect was. Next up, we have Two Sides, One Coin. They sent me so many tweets, so yes, please just DM them or whatever. Anyway, says, wait, does that mean Dennis was trampled to death rather than killed by the bombs? I think he was either trampled to death or he was one of those big, massive wall type things. Arches fell on top of him and he was crushed. It also says, rest in peace, cheerleader. Yes, rest in peace.
Yay! Somebody gets it.
And then he just said, but wait, who called Angela when she thought it was Claire? It was the hospital. So it was either Dr. Roberts or Anne or just random blonde who was at the desk when HRG said, where my daughter's Claire Bennett, where is she? Yes. Next question. In next week's teaser trailer, Tommy/Nathan seems to be more confident now. How do you think he will react to the revelation that he and Melina were actually born last year? The formerly to the formerly incredible cheerleader. I know he started to get some confidence after Emily told him about Claire jumping off the Ferris wheel and showed him the French Ninth Wonders comic with possibly Erica on the cover. Like we've said before, I think, they go back into the past, they get split up, they get told that they're of great destiny, and
They get
mind wiped, and that's basically where we find them, or at least we find Tommy. I don't know if they mind wipe Melina because she still knows that she has.
They almost have to because of what we saw with the uniform, though, right? Because she seems like homeschooled. She seems like she hasn't been around humans her whole life.
Yeah, but maybe she's just being taught at home in the Petrelli mansion with Monty. Oh, maybe she babysits the Monty. Oh man, I want Monty back. Anyway,
clap, clap, clap.
Danny Mac and Cheese says, "Oh my god, that's all I have to say. Thank you." Next up, we have Pingu112 says, "Freaking awesome." Well, except the last bit with HRG stepping on all the butterflies. Yeah. Well, you know, he was.
It's HRG. What'd you expect? And it's clear.
But HRG is gonna get stopped by HRG, so don't worry about that. So yes. Lost Weather Guy says, "Amazing ep, worthy of season 1 Heroes. Love the twist with Claire's babies being hidden in the past. Too bad Claire was not in the ep." How do you compare it to season 1? Do you think it's back to its season 1 goodness?
This was definitely season 1 goodness. I'll agree with it. What about you?
Yeah, I think it's getting up. Well, it's like season 1 in nearer the end kind of goodness, or near the big event kind of goodness where you're getting answers. I do appreciate the kind of past episodes as well, because of the building work that they're doing towards this. But, this was always going to be a big episode, not only because you had all the original characters making a comeback, but also you knew you were going to find out answers because it's called June 13th, 2014. You knew you were going to find out answers. So, yes. Next, we have Electioner 1, killing Erica Kravid. It's too late. Make her a martyr. And Phoebe, Harris, and others finish the job. So Mohinder dies for real in the explosion. Well, first things first, I don't think Mohinder might die. I don't think he will. I think he'll get saved. Erica Kravid isn't going to be killed in the past because she's there in the future. He's going to get stopped by himself. I wonder how much real-time life Hiro lived in all those trips where he concluded that they were all worse. I think he was only there for a couple of seconds just to see how it was going. So yeah, Hiro's only been confirmed for 3 episodes. Prediction: Hiro dies at the end of the next episode. Maybe.
Yep.
Yep,
because he said he was passing the torch, not building the bridge.
Yeah.
He was preparing us, guys.
I know, right? But the thing is, at the end of the day, he's kind of led
so many lives.
If we're going with, he's Tommy's stepfather, is all I can say, then, he's had a full life. He's led his Charlie grandmother life, is the only way I can put it.
He led his Ando hero life, yeah. He's done a lot.
I can't grasp 2 Angelas, one for the original Heroes and one raising these babies. Well, you're going to have to grasp it because it's what's happening. Why couldn't Hiro teleport back to the same time so Noah wouldn't step on any butterflies? That is another question. Hiro
3 hours before the bombs go off. Oh my god, don't even give me started.
And also, he said when he teleported out the first time, he said, "I'll be back for you. Don't step on any butterflies." So I think something happens with his powers to short him out. That's why he didn't go back, because he should be going back. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah. His brain tumor came back.
Yeah, maybe. Caspar and Noah being partners makes a ton of sense, but who is the father of Claire's babies? We don't know. We will always say
Kellen Lutz.
Kellen Lutz, yes. I can't even remember his name. I think it's something Bobby. Yeah. That sounds Midwestern-y kind of. Yeah. Yeah, Bobby. Next up. Sorry about that. Well, my accent was good. Anyway, I hate to say it, best episode so far. Not a coincidence, as almost all the original characters have come back. I don't think the original characters coming back has anything to do with it being the best episode. I think the fact that it answers a lot of questions makes it the best episode since Thing, because if you think about it, like you said, they brought Mohinder back, but what real purpose did he serve apart from...
I think it's a combination of both, though. I'm not gonna lie. We got answers, but it was also like I said, this is like a Trojan horse for the older fans who just got gypped on, our season 5. So
we need to see part 2. What does Noah do so bad for Molly for him to run from him? Yes. So far, Molly seems to like Noah. Hate to say it, way too much of a Star Wars ripoff on Mother being super important, twins dying in childbirth, Padme Redux, and I thought the Star Wars parallel within 1 minute of the show ending. I bet the reviews hate a lot of that rip-off stuff. let me just say,
I didn't even see a lot of reviews touch on it. I've only really seen fans say it.
I also want to say, Alechna, you also said at the beginning of these tweets that this was the best episode, and then you've said that it is the worst in the series of 4 tweets. But yeah, I think the Star Wars thing is always going to happen because it's twins going back into the past, and they have to, it's an iconic thing, but at the same time, it's a story that is getting told. So yeah. Oh Lord, Angela is Anakin. All the talk of Claire dying being fate. God, I hate this. So yes, you literally heard the greatness descend into how much you hate this episode. So yeah, hopefully next week will make you like it better. So we are moving on to H. Sampson IV. He says, we now know that Tommy and Melina are Claire's kids, but who's the father? We've said it times. Every time we get asked this question, we're going to say someone different. Phoebe,
Tyler, or it's Kellen Lutz's character. Those are the only 2 options.
Or it's Peter Petrelli's, Yeah.
That's incest, damn it!
Well, that's why, there's twins, and
one's Tyler's, one's Peter's.
Yes. It's like Neil Patrick Harris's twins. It's both of them mixed up and put into the belly. And that's why.
And Elton John's babies like that.
Yes, exactly. And that's why you got one that's kind of like Peter and one that's kind of like a sport brat like Siler. Oh, answer the questions. When this happens, you heard it here first. Phoebe1123, holy sweet mother of Jesus. This episode was awesome. Thank you very much. I think it was as well. Danny_Vaughn says, I got really excited with this episode. Flashbacks make me want more. The show is really great. Can't wait for part 2. And some of the Nathan/Tommy stuff was like, Dad taught me everything I know. What? Very exciting. Also had a hunch that Melina and Tommy are twins. Yay. You know what, Danny Vaughn? Called it. Say it. Tweet it out to us. Called it.
Nailed it.
Exactly. K1GN4RT13 says, June 13th could be removed from the Heroes universe, but Tim Skring is scared of removing whole episodes with June 13th. No idea what that means.
Me neither. Quick, call Willow. Maybe she knows.
Yes. Next up, we have an email from the great Lexini. She says, Dear crew at Primatech, just want to take a moment to say how much I love you guys and your podcast, before I delve into the feelings on last night's Heroes Reborn episode, because boy, I feel crushed and more than a little bit shocked right now. I still hold out hope for Claire being alive because they never show her face on the gurney. Talk about denial, I guess. We will talk about denial. We have talked about denial.
It's not just a river in Egypt, apparently. We're learning that.
I always kind of thought Claire was super annoying, but HRG had me crying my eyes out. Well, the thing is, if you think Claire is super annoying, then why are you holding out hope for her being dead?
Because they want that HRG Claire reunion because they basically died with unresolved things said. Do you know what I mean? I totally get why she might feel that way.
Fair enough. I hope that Hiro finally got the implications of his powers. He grew up, but the interaction with the babies brought back his childlike nature. I can't believe Angela let Kravid take over like that without knowing how stubborn and tough she can be. Glad she finally gets to be a real great grandma to those babies.
She gets her girl!
Yeah, exactly. I can't put into words my feelings here and don't want to be too long-winded. The pieces are finally starting to fit, but this episode was just as traumatic to watch as some of the first season. I can't wait to watch it all and kind of wish I could binge watch it already. Anyway, thanks for letting me rant. Take care. Looking forward to hearing you on the podcast. Yatar. Motherfucker. Yatar. She didn't say motherfucker. I did. Anyway, next up.
You better edit that out.
Staying right in. Next up, my daughter and I love Heroes Reborn. Love seeing our favourite characters again and enjoying the new ones as well. That is from Fat to Fat in LA, and that's Fat as in F, and then the next Fat is PH. So yes, and Toll Chloe. Yeah, it's nice that mother and daughter are watching. It's a show for the whole family and
it's the 8 o'clock hour, of course.
Trying to explain twins being sent back into the past to your children or your boyfriends, as you know.
Yeah. He's always lost whenever I'm watching.
Next up, we have Stephen Siang 13 says, overall, this June 13th episode part 1 is awesome. It makes me shock in every scene. This episode really does change the perception of the series. Many questions have been answered in these episodes. How Claire died, what the thing Noah had to forget, how Hiro got trapped in Evernow. But now there are more questions that will be answered in the next episodes, I think. Will future Hiro died on June 13th, just like what Erica said in episode 5? No, he got sent back to the past. Did Greg, Matt Parkman Grunberg sided with Erica to find out what's inside HRG's memory and where he sent the babies? I think we'll find that out in next episode, but it's also something to take of note is that when Harris first meets up with Farah, he says, "Where are the baby?" So they only think that there's one baby out there, and HRG's plan has worked because they're looking for babies. Will the future be altered and they already know what they are searching for, a young boy and girl, but not babies? This is a great plot twist. It gives me goosebumps when I hear Hiro say Yatara again. Been following Hiro since season 1. Thank you for bringing heroes back. We did it all ourselves. It's fine. Lastly, we have English Idiot 101 Charlie. She will always be last to be read because she has been with us from the beginning. The episode was so tense. I'm glad we finally have seen some of what happened in Odessa, and I'm so glad we get to see Mohinder again. And Angela. The reveal of Tommy and Melina being Claire's children was such a shock, but I love it. It was nerve-wracking to watch Noah try to save the summit and Claire, knowing if he changes too much, he will change the future. I like the story of why Luke and Joanna took their son to the summit to find a cure for him. I just want to know what happens next with Noah and what he does with past Erica. That sounds really weird, what he does with past Erica.
Maybe he puts her in a box and puts some handcuffs on her and sends her to Ireland.
Yeah, or maybe he just buries her underground. And she shouts, "Carp! Carp!" It started off slow, this series, but it's gotten really good. I'm so happy it has. As are we.
Looks like it's time for some shameless plugs and self-promotion. We'll start with the show contact info. We here at Primatech Files love listener feedback. If you would like to get a hold of us, we have a ton of ways. You can email us via primatechfiles@gmail.com. You can leave us a private message or interact with our posts over on facebook.com/PrimatechFiles. We live tweet 2 episodes per week every Saturday starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For more information, be sure to follow us on Twitter @PrimatechFiles. You can also find us on Clamor, Tumblr, and YouTube by simply searching for Primatech Files. If you enjoy this podcast, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. What's that? You don't have an iTunes account? That's okay. We're on a lot of podcatcher services such as Stitcher and SoundCloud. All you have to do is search for, you guessed it, Primatech Files. We're also on Libsyn, and if you want to follow our RSS feed there, all you have to do is go to primatechfiles.libsyn.com and bookmark the site to stay up to date with this podcast. Libsyn is spelled Libsyn, just in case you were wondering. We look forward to interacting with you.
If you love our podcast, be sure to check out Southgate Media Group's iTunes provider page to see a list of what other podcasts are hot and trending in our network. Or you can take that one step further and visit southgatemediagroup.com, where you can find a full list of our 80-plus podcasts, along with weekly blogs and information about all the hosts. With so many podcasts that cover everything from anime to wrestling, there's sure to be tons of podcasts that could interest you.
Hey guys, you should know by now that you can find me on Twitter @Lilith Hellfire. If you have a Tumblr, be sure to check out it's lilithhellfire.tumblr.com. And of course, be sure to swing by my blog if you are a pop culture junkie or comic book geek at littlepopculturevulture.blogspot.com. I also host several other podcasts on the Southgate Media Group network. Some of them are The Flashpoint, Queen Consolidated, and Channel 52. So if you are into, obviously, DC comic book related stuff, be sure to check it out.
You can find my writings at tvbinges.com. It's a place for all your binge watching needs, and you can also create your own TV binge and we'll help promote it. We do a monthly binge watch, which you're more than welcome to join in. Just go to their Twitter @tvbinges just to find out more information. You can find me on Twitter @RickyJDiaz. That's RICKYJDIAZ, or Z if you're American.
Well, time to wrap it up. We want to thank you for hanging in there and listening to our rambling about episode 107, June 13th, part 1. We hope you enjoyed our thorough discussion. And now I'm going to tell Ricky to do the thing.
Keep the rebellion alive.